Okay guys, welcome back to Food Inspire Home and Garden, and this one is a great one for the fall time or the winter time. We are going to be making minestrone soup. I'm getting all of my regular bits and pieces together. This is onion and garlic. It has been all tossed together in my food processor to make things go a little faster instead of everybody crying, or at least me crying. And so I am going to get the rest of the vegetables together. You kind of want to let this cook a little bit, so if you have time you can always start chopping your vegetables. I have a zucchini, potatoes. There's lots of vegetables in this one today. Okay, we have
and I have it in a pot today because I figured I could just cook everything fine. You also want to find yourself some
tomato
juice. This one doesn't have any
juice. We have two of those.
The
tomato juice has no sugar in it. This one is a really good one. I got it from Sprouts. So if you guys ever want to get this, I'd go get one at Sprouts. It has no sugar in it, and it has less salt in it and stuff like that. We're gonna do a chicken broth base today. You can also use a vegetable base if you want to. I'm using two of them. You're gonna notice that I'm gonna start to put all my vegetables in here and have not enough
to use in this
pot space. So at some point in here, I'm gonna end up taking it all out. Which you're going to see here pretty soon. I ended up using the pot that I actually boiled the jars in, and I'm going to actually take all of this and put it into jars because it's going to be easier and it's going to save me time because I'm actually ahead on my cooking videos. So this video was like one of those quick and easy ones. You can actually throw sausage in here too. Some people like to do that. A lot of my stuff that I use is gluten-free because I have a gluten sensitivity, not technically celiac disease. It's never been diagnosed, but I like to use less flour in everything that I use. So you're going to see me put two cans or sections or whatever of those chopped tomatoes. This one also has no sugar in it. It works really well in case you don't have any of the jarred tomatoes. This was probably early in the season, so I didn't have time to get all of my tomatoes processed. In fact, I never have enough tomatoes to process anyway, so half the time I use the grocery stores and just get that ready to go. There are carrots in here, and I went ahead and chopped them all up. I also used full-length beans today. They're real nice and fresh, and that's what I wanted to use. You could use frozen ones too. I used a combination of a not a pinto bean, but a kidney bean and garbanzo beans in this because I like garbanzo beans. And then I also put potatoes in here too. Now, if you're one of those paleo people and you can't have this, I think I have another minestrone soup in my collection. I'll have to pin it somewhere in here. And it actually is one that has the no potatoes, or no, it has sweet potatoes, I think, in it instead. So that's another thing. You can add more garlic or whatever you want to this to make it taste really good for you. I'm probably gonna add some more stuff to it later on when I put it in my soup dish. I still haven't eaten this yet. I've just canned them, and in fact it's all the way almost to November, and I made this video a while back, and I'm just getting to now eat the soup, which I wanted to do that because I wanted to be ahead on my cooking videos. Sorry guys, I like to be ahead on the cooking videos because I'm going to be doing a lot of reno. So when I do a lot of reno, you want to do that. So anyway, here's where I said that I had to take everything out of the pot because it was just too small. I think you need to buy some bigger pots or something when I do like all these big vegetables and stuff and cook them actually over the stove. I don't know if you can Instapot this. You probably could. I didn't want to because I just wanted to come to a boil. I think I probably made it come to a boil for about an hour and a half or so. And then it started to
Another thing I'm going to add in
kind of
here
get that smell done,
is
you know,
spinach.
like where it's
I'm
done.
gonna add a lot of spinach.
I'm
because
gonna
honestly, it doesn't all
actually
down.
put spinach in here too. I almost used a whole container.
And then one of the
there's
other
just
things
a
that
little
is
bit
in here
left
too
over
is going to be
from what I
like
use.
little pastas.
I'm gonna
so
use
they didn't have any
these
of the little squigglies. All they
chickpea
had were the chickpea
noodles
ones. So this
and
is
their
amazing.
little
It's gluten-free
shells.
too.
And I
So,
think you
like I said,
only
I
did
am
like one
gluten-free.
package
So
or something like
that's
that,
why
because I have another cover
doing all this
package
stuff.
for another recipe
you use your
here
regular one,
in the
okay?
future that you're gonna see.
Important
It
that
turned
you
out
do
really
this
yummy
box,
and
okay?
good.
And I'm gonna save the other box for another day.
I tasted it before I put them in the
And
jars.
use
So,
that too for another day.
if you need to add more salt to it, you know, things like that. I just put a little bit in there at a time, and then as I'm eating it, that's when I start tasting it. I'm like, oh, this needs a little bit more salt.
So we're gonna put a bunch of
You can taste it during, of course.
break this guy all the way up.
This is a big, ginormous batch. So this thing is one of those huge pots that you do, you know, your jars
I'm going
in.
to use
So
oregano.
that's why it's and boil them to seal them. I also added a bunch of herbs in here.
I have dried myself.
I think there's rosemary and thyme, and I think I put some basil too, but I didn't have fresh basil, so I did end up using I think a dry brand, and that's fine too if you don't have that. It's just kind of like throwing a bunch of odds and ends in there. And there's some onion powder. And I'll put the whole entire thing down below. That's a little bit of garlic powder too, even though I did chop up some garlic. I'll put the whole entire recipe down for you because it's a lot of vegetables. I would probably say that you're going to need a big, ginormous pot, and there's going to be leftovers. I will actually probably give you the, I don't know, I'll probably do the small one for you. And then if you want to, you can do the big one, which is just doubling the recipe, which I'm sure all of you guys can do that really well. But honestly, this soup is absolutely wonderful. You could actually mush up your tomatoes, and you can take out the seeds,
and I'll make a smaller version
you can put it in there
for you
too.
guys that feeds like 4 people, but this is
I've
like
done
vegan.
that before, and I think I did that on my other recipe. And I think I'm adding another batch of chicken broth to it. And I just kept adding rosemary, thyme, sage, all those things that I really like in my Italian food. It makes things taste good. Anything that goes on a pizza, you could probably put in this. And for me, I'm kind of partial to all of those flavors together. And you want to make sure that when you do it, that you do chop these up into little pieces. You may find them in your soup. That's okay. No worries. You know, you can eat them. It's really good. Fresh herbs and stuff are really good for you. Spinach is really good for you. Don't tell anybody, but this is a really good recipe. That's really good for you. There's parsley in there too. I dried some parsley and put it in here because I didn't have any fresh parsley, but dried is fine too.
Okay.
Especially if you did it yourself, which I did do myself. I had it bought from the store. So you want to let this go for about an hour and a half or so. Make sure you turn it in between. So now you can see that it's all said and done, and I'm going to put it in jars. Now, my way of putting things in jars are totally different than what the rules say in the ball book. So sometimes you have to add citric acid and stuff like that in there. So if you are going to do that, please read the directions for canning. I have been doing this canning for a number of years. I've never had any problems. So what do? I kind of just wing it. Some of the recipes do require like citric acid and other additives to be, put in there. So that's why. So I'm going to put my lids on. I'm going to wash off all the tops of everything. Basically, if you have to, get one of those funnels because those funnels are awesome. And then wipe off everything, put it in there, and let it go for a couple hours. I think I ended up letting it go for about 2 to 3 hours. because I just overkill, and a lot of times you don't need to do that. So you have to watch out for how many hours you're supposed to do it. But every time I do it that way, it's sealed, and these things are hard to get off. Make sure you don't reuse your lids. I need to buy some more lids. That should probably go on my Amazon list, and also I should probably think about it because I'm running out of jars and lids all the time. Lids are probably something that you're going to run out of, especially if you are bending them. You can't reuse them. It will not seal. If I were you, I'd always get new lids. The rings around them are fine,
Minestrone soup right there.
but the lids themselves, you have to probably throw those away and get new ones. But it's all sealed, and you can see the buttons down. That's what I'm trying to test right there. And they are like that on all of them. I had to do 2 batches of this because there's so many jars to do. I've also recently done green chili, which turned out really good. It's still sealed, which I would not recommend unless you have a pressure cooker for jarring. I'm testing out a theory.
So that's what I've been told too.
So I would love to have a pressure cooker. That's another one that I would love to have, but I just don't have one.
With this stuff, sometimes I blend this up and I'll just drink it.
And you need that for meat. Anything with meat in it.
So anyway, thanks for watching today's Food Inspired Home and Garden.
This one's all vegetables except for the broth, and I think it's not going to kill us. It's going to be fine because it's going to be eaten, before that year mark anyway. But this is what it turned out. This is our minestrone soup. So anyway, thanks for watching Food Inspired Home and Garden, and I hope you get to watch this one. It's a good one. Inspire something that you love, and inspire in something you love with other people, and inspire everybody. That's what I say. We're all in tough times right now, and I feel like we need to inspire each other so that we can move forward. I hope you guys love watching my videos, and I love all of you for watching my videos. Thanks for watching. I love all of your wonderful comments. You guys are so inspiring to me, and that's what keeps me going. Thanks for watching today's videos, and I hope you guys subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can keep going. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Don't work too hard, but I know you will. See you later, guys. Bye.